The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
WZWA Sports. It's in the game.
God, it's good to be back here on the WZWA Network. You're with your boy Hogsley. Got a bit more energy pumping through me today. Hopefully this is going to be a banger of a review. And today we are looking at UFC 295. And God, I love a UFC event as short as this. I mean, I'm enjoying the sport, but isn't it good to see some good finishes like we saw here on this card? I don't think look, I've actually got it right here. No fight went longer than 2 rounds. That's how short we are talking about here today, folks. We had 3 on the main card going 1 round and 2 going 2 rounds. That's what I like to see. That is just nice. That is tight. That is just good entertainment right there. You know, I don't want to see fucking 25 minutes of people laying on each other. I want to see you fucking throw punches for about 90 seconds until one of you goes down. And that's what we got today. So I'm really excited to crack into it. Bit of housekeeping first. I'm sorry this review is coming late. Just, you know, life gets in the way. So look, I am sorry about that for all of you who do watch these reviews. But look, I'm getting to it now. So better late than never. That's what I always say, especially when it comes to the bedroom and, you know, that, yeah, whatever. I was talking about orgasms, you know, just in case you didn't understand what I was saying. Orgasms, it's better to have them than not have them, or give them than not give them. Anyway, moving on. Look, a bit more housekeeping. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck him. Just fuck Trump. I mean, this dude should be in prison. Why is he fucking ringside for these events? Still, okay? Why is he getting that privilege to sit ringside for these events? I don't understand it. Okay? The dude should be in prison. Why is he fucking sitting there for a UFC event? Why do I have to be distracted by his fat fucking face every time the camera pans around? Because he's sitting fucking ringside. Okay? Put the dude in prison. I'm sick of him. Sick of him. All right? Right. That's it. That's all I had to say about all that shit. So let's crack on. Crack on to the actual card. As always, here at the WZWA Network with your boy Hogsley. We'll crack through it chronologically, as we always do. So, look, this should be a short review, hopefully. There isn't much to talk about, so like I said, a lot of these fights just lightning quick. So, first up on the main card, we had Diego Lopez versus Pat Sabatini. Now, oh God, I gotta say, Lopez, what are you doing, man? That is just one of the ugliest looks anyone on this planet can have. You're not an ugly dude, okay? You're an average looking dude. But you're doing yourself no favors, man. Can you not afford a better haircut than the one you're rocking? Like just almost bowl cut with a mullet going on, man. That's just not on, man. And then your tattoo, what was it? Dream, believe, and make it happen. God, man, why not just get live, laugh, love, or whatever it is, just tattooed right across your chest, man? That is an ugly ass tattoo, man. You know what? Luckily enough, though, you're a good fighter. You're a fucking good fighter, so I guess no one's ever going to say that to your face. I know I'd never say it to your face. You'd lay me out, bro, but that's an ugly ass tattoo, man. That's an ugly tattoo. But anyway, yeah, obviously, as I'm alluding to, just walk through Pat Sabatini, man. Doesn't even need to really show any sort of ability or skill other than just raw athleticism and strength. I mean, if you were watching the fight like I was and like you probably were, Pat Sabatini looked to be the better fighter, just better fundamentals, probably better ability, all that. All that good shit. But it just didn't make a difference to someone that just has that natural ability that Lopez obviously possesses. Sabatini lands a pretty good combo on Lopez early in the round, and Lopez just eats it. He just wears it. It just does nothing to deter him. So Sabatini goes for a takedown, and Lopez just tosses him off him like he's nothing, like he's a toddler. It looked so easy for Lopez. And then as Sabatini's getting up, he cracks him with a hard right hand, and he's out. He's out on his feet. I mean, Lopez jumps on for the finish and lands a few more hard punches, but he was out. I mean, you could see him on the ground. That head is cracking back. There's no defense. And yeah, so despite Sabatini looking like he may be fundamentally more sound, when someone's got that natural ability Lopez has, it's just nothing you can do. You can't teach that. It's just you're born with it, right? So Lopez picking up another really good win, just continuing his trajectory up and up and up. I think I've already done a review on a Lopez fight. I think he won by submission in that fight. He's won by knockout in this fight. So his record is confusing. I haven't looked back through it, but he's got 6 losses or something. I think that's, correct me if I'm wrong. So maybe they came early on, maybe in another company, but since he's been in UFC, he's been on a bit of a roll, right? So excited to see where he goes from here. Hopefully he gets a new haircut by then. Maybe gets a sick-ass Panther cover up over the fucking chest piece. And I hope so. So let's move on to oh man. So I always struggle with the name. Saint Denis versus Frivola. Saint Denis, the French dude. Look, another real quick fight. I mean, Frivola, once again, he looked like he was doing the right things early on in this fight. Until he didn't. Until he just sort of made this classic mistake that you'll get in a lot of combat sports. He's I think he's gone for a takedown, or he has taken him down, or he's landed a good punch. I don't really write a lot of notes for the early fights, whatever. And he's had a good bit of offense, basically. And then he needs to back up, hit and move, the old Muhammad Ali style. But you never want to do what Frivola has done in this fight. You never want to back straight up, especially in a sport that involves kicks, okay? Like head kicks, because you've got the extra length on them. You never want to back straight up. And if you are, bloody guard your head, mate, okay? Because that's the only thing that is going to be effective against you. And it's what happened. You ended up catching a hell of a nice head kick from Saint Denis. And that was it. Fucking game over for you. You were out cold. And that's just another early finish. But going back to backing up, you should never back straight up, because that's the easiest way to chase someone down is by going straight forward. You want to add angles to it. You want to move left and right. You want to keep them guessing. If you're just running straight back, they're just going to run straight after you. Or if you are going to move straight back, make sure you guard the head, okay? Because it's a lot harder to hit that chest, or if it does, it's not going to be as devastating as anything that's cracking against the head, like that head kick that took you out. I mean, he knows this. I'm sure he does. But that's, what? You've got to add dimensions to your game, especially on the defensive end. You want to be ducking. You want to be moving. You want left to right. Just never run straight back. Anyone out there who's doing any form of martial arts, if you are on the defensive, I know it's in your instinct. You just want to go straight back. You gotta try not to, man, because that's the easiest way to just get run over by good competition. So that's what's happened to Frivola. He got steamrolled. That's his nickname, right? Well, he was the steamroller, not the steamroller tonight. All right, so let's move on to the actual fights that mean a goddamn shit. And that's, we'll start with Andrade versus Dern. And man, this was a bloody entertaining fight, everyone. This was bloody entertaining. You had Dern coming in as a favorite with all his wrestling ability. Andrade, ex-champion, obviously maybe towards the tail end of her career. I think she's already spent like over a decade in the UFC. So just, yeah, has the mileage, but has the experience. Dern, I suppose, is meant to be the up-and-comer. But the old dog won out tonight here, folks. Andrade was just way too much for Dern. I don't know what Dern was really trying to do. She did look out of sorts, out of place, just like almost like she didn't belong. She did, but the way she was behaving in the ring, that's kind of what it felt like. Like she was overwhelmed. Like the moment was just too big. I really think that's how she performed here tonight. First of all, she was trying to beat Andrade at her game. I mean, her striking has improved. She was a decent striker, Dern. But you're fighting one of the best strikers the women's division has ever seen in Andrade. I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me. Why? I mean, everyone wants to, what's the word? Show up their competition, beat them at their own game. But that doesn't normally happen. There's a reason why that's their game and you have your game. Stick to your strengths, okay? I mean, that's sport chess boxing. If you're Magnus Carlsen and you're versing, I don't know, Terence Crawford, and you go in chess boxing, don't throw the chess game and try to outbox him if you're Magnus Carlsen, because the chess is your fucking sport. And Bud Crawford shouldn't be throwing the boxing to try and beat him at chess, because that's not your fucking sport, all right? And this is the case. I mean, fight your fight, okay? Don't try and fight someone else's fight, because you're only given the advantage to them. So I did feel that a lot with this fight. I do think Dern did try and mix it up and go to a wrestling. But credit to Andrade, man. Every time Dern did try to go for a takedown, she was just getting countered hard. The striking from Andrade was just crisp and it was just strong. Even the moments Dern did land some good punches, and she was landing her own punches that looked really, really good. Andrade was just wearing them and throwing one counter shot that was just flattening Dern every time one of these hard punches landed. I think she had 4 knockdowns in the fight. And all of them were just coming off these one-punch counters after wearing and eating a few good shots herself. I loved it. Dern got knocked down and she was like, all right, hop on top. Let's do the ground game. Andrade's like, nah. That's not happening. Why would I hop down there with you when I'm clearly the better one up here? And it just kept going on into just the end of their fight. Look, I have a lot of respect for Dern because clearly she was getting sort of touched up there, but she wasn't turtling, she wasn't carrying. She was just throwing wild punches. She was going all out. She was willing to go out on her shield, and I respect that. But unfortunately, when you're willing to go out on your shield, sometimes you go out on that shield, and that's how it turned out. I mean, she was just started to throw wild, and Andrade just picked her shots and just took her down. And even though there was no follow-up ground and pound, the ref after that 4th knockdown was just like, nah, this is over. You're not doing anything, and you're just copying punishment by this point. So I'm okay with that stoppage. I really am, because she did look pretty out on her feet every time she was hopping up, and she was throwing wild, and Andrade was just knocking her straight back down. So I'm okay with that stoppage. And look, we are flying through this, everyone. I'm loving that. So we'll move on to the 2 main events. We'll go to the co-main, obviously, and that's Aspinall versus Pavlovich. And this was billed as that pick'em fight. Vegas had him at -110 each. Just could go either way. You had the commentators talking up the absolute power, which is Pavlovich. And man, he looked like a massive dude. This dude looked like a villain on a John Wick film. Just that fucking massive fuck-off Russian bouncer bodyguard body, man. I would not want to cop a punch from him. And then you had Tom Aspinall, who just kept getting billed as this real quick fighter. And that's pretty much what I saw. I mean, I've never seen these guys fight before. I think both of them especially Aspinall. He needs some more main UFC event recognition, more times on the numbered cards. Because dude, he looked good, and he picks up the win here tonight. He looked light on his feet. He was bouncing around. He was almost like the MMA Muhammad Ali for his weight. He's throwing the shoulders back. He's dodging the punches. He looked really good in there. And even when he does eat a massive, massive punch from Pavlovich, he just wears it and like it was nothing. I mean, he looks good. He looks real good, this Aspinall guy. So like I said, he eats this real big punch. And then he comes back with his own straight right hand right above the ear of Pavlovich. Now, we all know the knockout punch normally is on the chin, right? That's a knockout button right there. That gives you the most amount of crank and a force to turn that head and to switch someone off. Up on the top of the head, I mean, that's a hard part of your head. I mean, Gennady Golovkin made a whole career of defense just showing people the top of their head, of his head, and letting them punch that instead of the chin. So it takes a lot of strength to land just a real rock-hard, rocking punch to the top of the head. But when it does, when you're landing above there, that can just discombobulate you. That can take you right out of a fight. I mean, you go look at Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz 1. When you're landing around that ear mark and you land with power, that can just scramble a dude. That can just scramble those brains. And fucking Pavlovich was scrambled. He lands that. He gets the first right hand above the ear. Those legs immediately aren't listening to the brain. He cops a second right hand right above the ear in the same spot. He goes down. Aspinall jumps on top for the hammer fist. And just another good stoppage there by the ref, because those would have just pounded him. All right, that brain wasn't working anymore. That brain was back in the locker room, everyone. Those punches, like I said, those are scrambling punches. So Aspinall picks up a nice early win. Just like that, everyone, we're already at the main event. Prohaska versus Pereira. I think I've got those names right. And let's just crack right into it. Let's just move through it. Pereira has got a deadly leg kick. I know that's what the commentators are saying. I don't want to just parrot what the commentators are saying. But what they're saying was accurate. This leg kick just is quick, and it was clearly, even after two or three kicks, was just Prohaska just looked like he couldn't put weight on it. That leg just looked like it was buckling already. So just the power in that leg kick, I mean, that's got to be one of the best abilities you can have in MMA. If you can have a leg kick that powerful, God, you should win a lot of your fights, because a leg kick can come out so quickly. I mean, a body kick, a head kick, there's more time to react and do something with it. A leg kick can almost look like you're stepping forward and you just flick it out. And if you're flicking out with that much power and you're taking out you're taking out the foundation, the base of another fighter. Everything in all the sports starts at your legs, right? Unless you're in whatever, a wheelchair sport. But look, I'm not going to go down that road. You know what I'm talking about. Basketball, tennis, boxing, fucking kickboxing. If you can't move your legs, you ain't performing well. You are gonna be shit. So if you are able to take out that base, take out that foundation within 2 strikes, you're obviously looking good for the fight. And that's what Pereira had done. He was just brutalizing that leg just straight away. And Prohaska, he was smart about it. He was like, I can't be doing this. I can't just keep wearing these punches. So he shoots for the single leg. And Pereira, with the wherewithal, almost chokes him out with a guillotine. So Pereira just looked like he was locked in tonight. That was a locked-in performance. I mean, you could see it in his eyes. The facial expression never changed. He looked like the Terminator in there. Just had a single goal in mind, and he pursued it. And he did it so well here tonight. He ends up picking up the the knockout in round 2, but I'll get to that. Oh, you know what? Let's get to it now. I mean, I felt like in round 2, Prochazka started landing a lot better. He sort of started to get away from the leg kicks and started to land his own little punches, his own little combos. Sort of started to touch up Pereira. But then as he's coming in, he gets countered with this great sort of straight and then a left hook. All right, the 2-3, which is an odd combo. All right. But that left hook clearly rocks Prochazka. He is rocked. He's smart enough. He latches on. He tries to clinch or take him down. And Pereira just starts throwing punches. He starts throwing elbows. And eventually, Prochazka goes to the ground. And I've got an issue with this point right here. Because the ref jumps in and calls the fight off. Prochazka was rocked. He was hurt. But I think that's an early stoppage. He was still showing wherewithal in the ring. He was still showing the desire to defend himself. Still showing a desire to get out of the situation. He wasn't out cold. He was still defending himself. And the ref jumped in and stopped the fight. I don't like that, okay? I know you want to protect these fighters. You always want someone to fight another day. Chances are the knockout was probably coming, but unless it's 100% certainty, you shouldn't jump in and stop the fight. There was, in my opinion, a chance Prochazka weathered the storm, came out of it, and there was more fight to be had here tonight. But that's not how it played out. Prochazka still, I mean, let's run it back. Run this fight back because it was pretty dang close for basically all the fight, and I do think it was an early stoppage. So I'd like to see it again. But credit to Pereira, now a 2-division champion. Not at the same time. I think he's already, he lost that middleweight belt back to Adesanya. I believe so. But moves up and grabs another title, another weight division. Obviously very rare in the UFC. I think they said he's only the 9th person to do it. So good on you, mate. That's obviously really good. So credit to you. Yeah. And that's it. That's all I've got to say. Like I said, I flew through it tonight because the card was just flew through it itself. I mean, so look, that was just my quick thoughts. Like I said, sorry it's coming out late, but hopefully you've enjoyed what I've had to say about it. Like, comment, subscribe. Go check out the Patreon. We'd love to see you there. Lots of original content on that you don't find on the YouTube. So go check it out. Please subscribe. All that good shit. And we'll see you down the road. Oh, shit.
WZWA Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. WZWA Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. WZWA Network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.